Okay, I just want to say, how dare you?
What?
How dare you
What?
get older without me?
Excuse me.
You bitch.
I invited you, and you had to work.
Right? But now you're 25 and I'm 24. There's a gap there, man.
Yeah, you know. Oh, so you meant like because we're not twins and we didn't
Yes.
age at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
We need to do everything at the exact same time. It's why we coordinate poops.
Yeah. However, we can't coordinate times for this podcast. So welcome
Hi.
to the Tilt and Roll podcast.
Brought to you by Natural One RPGs and not brought to you by microwavable pretzels.
Yes. Although these were cooked in a toaster oven, which makes them even better. If you can, get a toaster oven. They're really nice. Half the
I'm not going to eat into
almost barely gives any reason to have a toaster. Well, I would have had a problem editing your horrible chewing. I assume Gabby would too, but I mean, I'm not the one who's going to reap the downsides of it. So,
That's
I can
true.
go like all I want. It was funny. I went for a gross thing and then like a burp came up in that by accident. I didn't intend to like burp into the mic and suddenly it was there.
Oh my god! Shout out to our editor, Gabby.
Yes, of these podcasts.
Yes, she's doing great, and she has to deal with all of us.
Yes. No, with very little directive like ideas, she was able to get it pretty much the exact way that I wanted these to get edited a little more. It's great. And now off the screen, there's another dog.
I brought my dog again.
Yep. Was that words?
I brought my dog again.
Well,
Her name
so
was Faye, and
speaking
she's
of
perfect.
So speaking of my birthday, you've brought something which you conveniently put away from you very far,
I did.
so that you would have to move the microphone.
I also did.
Something
I do
that
it.
could lead to problems.
Everything has.
Yeah, sure, I'll hold this for you. Thanks.
Everything has a reason.
Oh yeah,
Please get out of focus.
nice lean. Well, it's on manual focus, so you did go out of focus technically, but it's not going to force the camera out of focus.
All right.
Thanks.
Yes, Marshall, friend of mine, trader.
I'm going to pretend like I don't already know what the gift is. What could it be?
I scoured many stores
What?
and found nothing to get you. So instead, I found this one child that just recently bought this thing, and I beat him up for you.
No, stop!
I did this for you, Marshall,
Good.
and I told him that too.
Now the lights of the police will be raining
Exactly.
in any moment now.
I told him this is for Marshall, and I gave him your last name and your address.
Good.
And I
That way
told
the
him,
police will know.
yeah, and I told him to get you a gift too.
Okay.
Probably gonna be the police.
Nice.
Regardless, this kid had great taste. So here is your gift.
Oh, thank you.
Happy birthday, buddy.
By the way, don't put in the police sirens in like lights if you do that. If you decide to go that route, don't do it now, but do it in like a weird middle, like anywhere in the podcast, well after we're done with this bit, and then like I'll cut in the SWAT meme video. Thanks.
I feel like
Oh
she's.
my god!
Oh my god! I got him the Essentials kit
Wow!
from D&D Beyond. D&D Beyond.
No. No. But we may find use for this soon on our charity live stream.
Yes.
Which reminder is in November
All right, I gotta ask for that day off. Marshall, if I have to work that
5th.
the 5th? Yeah, you looked at October.
That is October. So it's probably the 6th. I think it's the 9th.
Soda, please.
You know what? We'll have our editor put up the correct date for Extra Life.
and
Thank
leave
you.
all the clips of him saying the wrong dates.
Well, we don't cut these parts out.
No, we don't.
But yes, so we'll probably use this. Oh, and what's this?
Get you some
Oh,
Target dice.
Target RPG set. Okie dokie dice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Was that you?
I think it was Frank. Frank is Marshall's dog. Faye is my dog.
But one of them made like the sound that it sounded like when you release a vent. Like just.
I think that was Mike. Or Mike, Jesus. I think that was Frank because Faye doesn't talk.
I don't know.
Sometimes she
Somebody,
pats.
I mean, it was just like expelling air one way or another. So I don't know, maybe because my only thought of it maybe being Faye is that since she's in a slightly frightful state, that it might have been akin to like whining a bit.
Maybe.
So she took like a deep breath, and that kind of had a whining pull up to it.
No.
None of you probably heard it, so what we're talking about is relevant.
Yes. Like everything else we talk about on this podcast.
Yes. But speaking of things that are relevant, slide these down.
Bag. I was going to get you a gift receipt for the bag. And I forgot.
Why would I need a gift receipt for the bag?
That way you can be like, hey, I'm going to return this bag. I didn't want it.
That would be the worst thing to ever do. Return the bag. No, the gift was great. I love it. This bag, though, hideous.
Absolutely.
No. So,
Yes.
one of the thing I wanted to talk about, which we were talking about before this today.
Were we?
We were talking about before we started, which is Descent into Avernus.
Oh,
came
yeah.
out.
The new book came out today, and I'm
Yeah.
so happy.
And my hinted hope that would be my birthday gift from somebody apparently went incorrectly. I wasn't gonna get it because I was like, maybe I'll be lucky and someone will give it to me for my birthday. I wasn't expecting it. I was just hoping, and I got that one instead.
It would have been a good birthday gift now that I think about it.
Well, the main thing though, honestly, like I'm fine I didn't get like the physical book though for sure. And like why that one's really good for the physical thing, like the having a physical essentials kit.
Yeah.
Is obviously for the use that we'll have on our next on our charity live stream whenever we do other like if we ever do other things like that, or if I just ever do like live DMing again. Obviously, it has plenty of use, but the Descent into Avernus book for our needs and like our shows and stuff like that. Nice.
Thank you.
I would obviously really prefer we're not sponsored.
No.
D&D Beyond
Yes.
book. Or if anything, if I wasn't using my current template, I would potentially argue the Roll20 like things that they get for each of the books and adventures. Because everything's obviously laid out really nicely, but being able to at least just kind of have everything available to all of you in terms of at least the items and everything else is really nice. Now, obviously, at least going into our campaign stuff,
Yes.
we don't have to worry about that. I only have to worry about that if I want to give an NPC something.
That's true.
Because I don't put the NPCs in your campaign, obviously.
Oh, no. And I just reskin all the NPCs I could.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, if I wanted to give the angel sword to one of the NPCs, then it'd be a problem. Because then it's like, well, can't do that now. But so what I was thinking we could do, though, is somewhat look through some of the items here.
Oh, yeah.
Some of these are really interesting, and I want to talk about them.
I know. I was reading it at work mostly because I
Also, for an adventure book, this thing's huge.
Yes, and I love it. But the actual size book is actually pretty decent. It's about the size of it's less than size of Dungeons of the Mad Mage.
It's a little bit. Well,
Yeah.
Dungeons of the Mad Mage is very big.
I have it at home right now.
Yeah, like Mad Mage is huge.
I bought both the physical and the digital copies because I'm a weak fool.
I only bought the digital one because that was obviously mainly what I needed it for. But I bought the whole thing as opposed to like everything else, especially because I wanted to use the maps.
Yeah.
That the digital maps that they put into it. I wanted to use those for Roll20. I have since created a set where I'm just seeing the exposure thing move and it was weirding me out. I have since moved to actually exclusively using Fireball maps, so that part is not as useful, but it is a really great reference for just installing random dungeons.
All right, but yes,
so there are interesting items in Avernus though that I really find interesting.
And here's the first one: the battle standard of Infernal Power.
Yeah, I love that. I love the like weapon. I guess you could say like weapons in this in that they added. Like not all of them are crazy like powerful or do a lot of super crazy effects. There's actually a significant there's significant lack of cursed items that I would have expected. I would have expected like 3/4 of this to just be cursed items. Faye receiving yet another treat.
Yes, she's a spoiled brat, but we love her.
So is Frank, so it's okay. But yeah, so there's a surprising amount of non-cursed items in this book.
Ooh.
Is there any?
I believe they're not cursed, but there's several that have restrictions. Like you have to have an evil personality.
Yeah, there's not one that has the cursed moniker.
Yes.
Though, as we get to one item, it'll like it's as if you are cursed.
Pretty much
to own it. I'm gonna move audition over so I don't lose track of time here. There we go.
But the first one, the battle standard, it's really cool. It's just an item you hold. Yeah. It has a living quasite stuck on the top of it, and what it does, it lets you, what's to say, any attacks that you and your allies do within 300 feet of you are considered magical, which makes sense lore-wise because they're using this to make all the demons' weapons magical, so that they can fight off or all the devils' weapons magical in order to fight off demons in this whole grand blood war, which the book goes into more.
Yeah, obviously like the big thing with this book is that it very much then goes into Eberron in November, which will be a post-war book.
Yes.
Which then will lead into a lot of kind of noir-y like stuff. Which would be really cool, but obviously, like we have to get there, or they kind of want to get there step by step. So this is kind of this is a big climactic book, clearly.
One thing I do want to mention about this book is if you click on, we're right now looking at the Fane Eater, which is the primary weapon of Archon the Cruel. To all people out there who know this, that's Joe Manganiello's personal character that he had on several shows, including Critical Role. And in Critical Role, he got the hand of Vecna, and he still has that hand, which means you can technically get the hand of Vecna in this book if you're really ambitious.
Technically correct.
Yes.
That's very true. One thing I find interesting, I do find the Helm of Devil Command as like an interesting like plot piece kind of tool that you could potentially use like for a higher end boss that maybe then like they if they leave behind the helmet and whatnot or everything, there is an interesting part I think to like what you can use with the helmet in terms of like having it affect you if you like as a party member tried to put it on. But the two things that I actually really like the most out of the items they added, first I really love the Infernal Puzzle Box. Even though it can only put in like very tiny items, like 5 to 6 inches on a side, so it's just a 6-inch cube,
right?
But which is not, it's half a foot,
yeah,
right? So it's not super small. But there are plenty of things that obviously you can't put a sword in it. No,
but you can't put a dildo in it.
No, no matter how brave you are, no matter how brave the box is. But I really love how this is, while it's a magical item and it has magical effects, it itself, in terms of solving it, doesn't require magic. Like anybody could open this thing.
I know.
Like you could just be like some kid could just find this on like in the ground, and all of a sudden they're just like, "Oh, look at this box!" And then they figure it out, and all of a sudden it's just like some hellish thing comes out, like some horrible item. I guess arguably Vecna's hand could be in there.
That's true.
Imagine that. You open the box, this is a zombie hand. It just goes onto you and like replaces your arm as like a 60-year-old. Like, why is it telling me to do evil things?
Which it would do.
It would constantly.
Yes. I know, right?
It takes the joke of the kill your parents to the next level.
I know lore-wise, it's used to keep. It's actually where the devils keep the contracts for people. And the contracts, they made them look so cool, man. Someone showed it on Twitter how they made the contracts look, and they actually like Wizards made one. I think it was for the Platinum Edition. It's how do I explain it? It's like a bunch of steel tablets attached to each other, and they fold in, and then when you move it up, it's like if you're unrolling something, but it's a tablet, so you're unfolding something.
Yeah.
And it's all written in Infernal. It looks amazing, and it's very satisfying when you put it down. The sound it makes, like.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
But then, although the metal lock is a great weapon that would definitely destroy your party if you don't use it wisely.
Oh my god, yeah.
One thing I'm really glad they added is the soul coins. I love these, like the use of these things for multiple reasons. Like obviously, if you're going to be going into like, if you potentially are going to explore like going into a hellscape, obviously you would see plenty of these, and then the mental capacity that in like the constitution itself that has to be involved if you're not an evil character and holding these things before and you want to try to like free them, like if you're a cleric or a paladin that are really like on this, like especially if you're very on the purity kind of aspect of things, like this has a lot of like great stuff to play with and kind of use, especially because like evil creatures could be in here.
That's true.
You know, the soul coins, like they hold the souls of like whoever, either like defaulted on a contract or just
didn't do good enough on the job review.
Yeah, or they were just kind of like, hey, I like your soul.
Yep. You failed me for the last time.
Or just, hey, what's up? Oh, you're here in this forest? That's cool. Give me your soul. I mean, there's so many. They like every story, like any soul can have like any means of having gotten in there. Like your imagination is the maker for that. Mm-hmm. And then
you can also
always try to release them, or as currency.
Yes, or you can use them to drive cars.
Hell cars.
Yeah.
That sounds like something that would be out of Doom.
Right? Yes.
Oh, your soul's in here? It'll blow you for a minute. It's very much a Doom guy thing to do.
Oh my god.
Oh, this priceless, this hell artifact uses souls in order to power it. Let me use it so that I can murder demons.
But yeah, I do want to mention the I think they call them hell machines, infernal machines. I forget which one, but they're basically, if you think about Mad Max, all those vehicles in those, that's that they have these now here in D&D. You can only ride them in hell.
Wait until we get to Eberron. I am sure they're gonna have some type of vehicular thing add-on.
But it's Mad Max, man.
I know, but I feel like when Eberron comes, you could definitely find a way to bring these out of hell.
Potentially.
I feel like there will be people can devise a way one day.
You devise it faster.
Well, this is the pre-time,
The pre-time.
Yeah, they're gonna dude.
They got pre.
And they're gonna bring hell. Because that's where you go if you masturbate. Hi, welcome to this Christian Minecraft server.
Oh man,
no, I find I'm curious, like if you were to go through the entirety of Avernus, in the late game, I wonder how much the Sword of Zariel plays though, because obviously it's on the cover.
Yep. I haven't gotten to that part yet. I've read through chapters 1 and 2.
Well, essentially, like a lot of it, because obviously, like you see her reaching for it, and it's because Zerhil is trying to grab it because she just needs to grab it to destroy it.
We're talking about the cover art.
Yeah, on the she's like though, and that's the whole thing is like pretty much one of the few ways to destroy the sword. One of them is just give it to Zerial. Like here, all right, cool. All she has to do is grab it, and it's destroyed. But otherwise, let's see. You can use to shatter the companion.
The companion is the giant artificial sun that's over on Terrell, one of the cities in the Forgotten Realms universe, in case anybody was wondering. Yeah. I didn't know that offhand. I just literally read it this morning because I got the book this morning.
Yeah. And then, let's see, unless the... Well, that's it. It's only destroyed in that way if it's wielded by an angel of challenge rating 15 or higher or good aligned cleric or paladin of 10th, which I feel like... How high level does this book go?
13.
I feel like if you get to that point,
you can do a lot of things.
You probably should be level 10, right?
You should, yeah. Hopefully. Right. If you're fighting Zerial, yeah.
But yeah.
I do want to mention, though, in the cover, it does seem like she's reaching out to destroy it, but maybe she's reaching out for redemption. Could she be redeemed? It's up to you in your adventure.
True.
And let us know on our Instagram page.
I was going to say, otherwise, if you kill Zerial, then it looks like it just becomes a normal-ish longsword.
Yes.
Though it always will look fancy.
It will.
And nothing can take away from that. You can just murder the angel that lives inside.
Right.
Hey, but you know what? If you just carry it and you don't kill her, then you got some cool wings.
That's true.
Now.
And you look fantastic. As the attunement, once you first attune to it, you transform into a heavenly, idealized version of yourself, blessed with outwardly beauty, the touch of heaven in your heart.
I was gonna say, doesn't it have like new personality? Like so, it gives you all like the personality trait like blocks of like that you would go through in your background traditionally. But then all of them are labeled out for just what you would have now. So you like won't tell a lie or cut to the chase in every conversation.
I like everything clean and organized.
Something that we all wish that we could have. These are fantasy games for a reason. But yeah, you change your ideals, bonds, flaws, like all of those change.
I can't wait to run this with you guys. I really do. Planning to do this off stream, so I apologize for everybody.
Yeah,
out there.
sorry. This is something we plan on doing in our own lives. I know it's crazy. We want to do things in the real world,
except work.
What?
Or go to school. I'm kidding. I do like going to school. Actually, it's actually very enlightening to see.
I was more referring to just D&D.
Okay, yeah, yes, real world.
No, I'm just saying, in our average lives, we still like playing D&D. It turns out we don't just play D&D because we're trying to capitalize on like a trend. This would be the worst trend to capitalize on. Instead, we could just be like those meme channels.
But man, do we love it?
I mean, hey man,
the D&D.
I still follow them all I want.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. So there's a lot of great items here. It's definitely just recommended that if you really want to take a look at them, by all means, definitely just like, pick up the book on, your local game store, D&D Beyond, or even Amazon if you can't find a store near you or close enough.
And of course,
or you're just super, super poor.
That's true.
And respectable.
And of course, this is another book with a great alternative cover.
Yes, it is really cool
with the skull and the black and red.
Well, it's just it's really just the like initial Baldur's Gate cover like of the game.
Yeah,
and that's what's so good about it is that it's not necessarily like trying to be too much like its original, like the other cover, like the main one. It's really its own thing, like comparably. Like the one for Saltmarsh was like cool because it was just the perspective of the guy on the boat, and that's really cool. And so a lot of the other ones are like fancy recreations of like the original books.
Right.
But this one is like very unique in the fact that it is meant to just be an homage to something that has nothing. I mean, obviously, it's something to do with the cover, but that design on the limited cover is not on anywhere really on the traditional one.
And another quick thing. The story does start technically in Baldur's Gate in the Forgotten Realms universe. What this means for any prospective DMs out there who's about to run it is if you look up the Baldur's Gate games OST, you already have music for your campaign.
Oh, that's a great idea.
It's already capturing the atmosphere that Baldur's Gate is, which is a cesspool of violence and hate, and just I'll just use that. You're good. You don't need to look for any music, and if you don't stream it, you don't have to worry about copyright.
Yeah. Otherwise, a big reason why I think even if you didn't want the paper version, that if you did want to get like the digital version of this game, if you're a DM, is primarily just from the maps. Like even if you play on like in person, like not like us where our shows are online and whatnot.
Right.
Like even if you play in person, getting the digital maps can be super useful, even if you just like want to try to print them out or anything like that, because obviously like all of these maps just like are small little images in the actual book. Like they're obviously not very useful at all.
Right.
And obviously part of it is meant to be also just be reference. Like if you just have a playmat and you just want to draw it out, draw out the area on the playmat and you can just kind of copy from it, totally fine. But I definitely recommend if you have the accessibility to like a printer or something like that, you could definitely get big versions of these onto printers.
So Marshall, I need to make a confession to you.
Mm-hmm.
So Wizards also released a D&D Baldur's Gate dice and miscellaneous set.
Yes.
Which is the dice and all the maps.
The fuller maps.
Yes. And I bought it.
Of course
it's in my house. It's with my book.
Of course
I was so happy. All that time you thought I was taking a shower? No, I was just laying on the couch holding it to my chest. I wasn't even reading it. I was just enjoying it. I'm so excited for this adventure.
I mean, it has a lot of use to it. I'm excited for it because it is. There's kind of two sources I was planning on using very heavily. For stuff in the Evercrescent Moon, and part of that stuff is from this book. So I'm also very excited to have this kind of around. So it has a lot of action in it. It's obviously very full, especially if you're getting it for like the $30. It's very much worth the price to the book.
That's true. Hey, real quick,
unlike some other books.
That's true. Click on Baldur's Gate character backgrounds. I'm curious. I haven't seen that yet. It's a little bit above. It was there. Almost there. A little bit above. 4 up. Yes.
I was looking for a bold header.
Let's see. Is it up or down? Go down.
Why are you like this?
Oh.
One thing I won't give D&D Beyond. There it is. Okay.
There it is.
The one thing I won't give D&D on all the credit for is their table their table contents. Clickable management is not always super on point.
That's true. Let's see if they gave us any more backgrounds. Scroll down.
See, well, so added Baldur's Gate features to ones we already have. So
Ooh.
Accolade has a feature to religious community. The Charlatan has long lost heir. Not
Ooh.
hair. Criminal has a Batman looking guy in a picture. These two. But they're evil versions.
Oh man. Keep going down, man. We're going down this rabbit hole real quick.
So yeah, I mean, criminal origins. You have their connections labeled out. This is gonna be great because I'm looking into the side on a very directional microphone. So this is good.
Yes.
Entertainer. So face. Oh, there it goes. So it's faceless. That's a new background. So you get disguise kit, deception and intimidation. Faceless persona. Faceless character adventures behind the mask of a public persona. Man, who's this sound like? In one of our shows.
Yeah.
This persona is as natural to them as their hidden true face, but it disguises their identity. Roll on the Faceless persona table to determine your persona, or work as a DM to construct a persona.
I wonder who this is.
Character.
Marshall.
You could be a flamboyant spy or brigand.
Oh my god. The incarnation of a nation.
The whole nation.
Just
or people.
You could be America.
As I say, that's like the Street Fighter background, because that's like what all Street Fighter characters
That's
are.
true.
They're just like characterizations of wherever they come from.
She is China.
You can tell with her thigh cut dress and white white like buns in her hair,
And thighs that could kill you.
as all Chinese women have. A scoundrel with masked guise,
Ooh.
a vengeful spirit, the manifestation of a deity or your faith, one whose beauty is greatly accented using makeup, an impersonation of another hero, the embodiment of a school of magic. That is absolutely being that concept is being used in a campaign I'm in right now.
Ooh.
Except that thing is an owl, and it's treated more like we're in the 9th century. But
John.
yep, a warrior with distinctive armor and a disguise with animalistic or monstrous characteristics, meant to inspire fear.
Oh man,
That one feels a lot more like Brand than any of the other ones do,
that's true.
outside of the animalistic, but just more especially the inspire fear part.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So dual personalities.
Okay.
I feel like that it makes for the baseline of reading that, even just the idea, the name of it makes a lot of sense for what this is. It's obviously different traits. Your ideals can be justice, security, confusion, infamy, incorruptibility, or anonymity. I feel like that one makes the most sense, but for like all around, like if you're going just for like baseline, like why would you be a faceless hero? I feel like anonymity would make the most sense. Why are you wearing a mask? I don't know, just to be anonymous, I think. So folk hero gets social vengeance.
Ooh.
Some new origins, probably somewhat befitting a little bit for Baldur's Gate related material.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, because it's not always the greatest place to live.
Imagine not this Detroit, but Detroit.
Yeah. Let's see. So you get professional courtesy as a guild artisan. Hermit goes to the real city.
Oh man. You're a hobo as a hermit.
Pretty much. Patriarch for noble.
Okay. So those are the ones living in the upper city.
Yeah, and it just kind of lets you, like, it looks like it lets you get through city gates without paying tolls. They're unquestioned, or yeah, it looks just more like, yeah, really getting that privilege in there. If you didn't feel privileged enough playing a noble background, then guess what?
Hey, I'm an outlander in this case.
You mean in real life, or? Yes, immigrant experience. Unfortunately, that doesn't actually explicitly stick to you as a person.
Nope.
Yeah, different origins still. Rumor monger for sage.
Oh my god.
Why would you be about rumors as you're a sage?
Right?
What? What does that have to do with anything?
Why give prophecies when you're gonna be like, hey, did you hear Patricia slept with Lord Iron? What a slut.
Smuggler sense for sailor, that definitely makes sense.
It does make sense.
Oh,
Even though
there's a pirate background, right?
There's a smuggler. Yeah, there's a smuggler background. Ghost of Saltmarsh gave us a smuggler
Well,
background.
to be fair, these change when they come out with stuff like this, they don't. Most of the time, they don't bank on other adventures. So, like in the world of this, when they make the book, they partly try. I think they partly try to kind of pretend, not fully, but kind of pretend that like Saltmarsh doesn't exist. So like smuggler as a background isn't a base choice like in the player's handbook.
Right.
So they're not going to add it because that's an adventure book.
Right.
It's based on a setting stuff.
Damn.
So I think when this is also an adventure book based on a certain setting, they're just going to like go from player's handbook and change it there. I would imagine if they wanted to add it in, like then they just will. But they don't go on a baseline for it. I think it's true. Like for them, it's probably like, well, sailor with smuggler sense makes more sense, or stuff like that.
If you go down, they elaborate on soldiers by making it a city guard.
The Watch. Flaming Fist.
Oh yeah, the Flaming Fist, the mercenary company that pretty much rules over the lower city because they're the main police force. Very brutal.
And then you can give a loyalty test. Who wouldn't want to do that? Otherwise, the urchin gets a gate guide connection. I'm trying to... there you and that seems to be. I can't tell what Dark Secrets here is attached to. It looks like it's its own thing because it's too big.
I think it's just making your own rumors.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to be attached to anything else because it's bigger.
Yeah.
So it's just a weird in. Okay, so yeah, okay, so it's just adding.
Ooh.
That's going into the theft in Baldur's Gate section.
Oh, you know what?
That's
It's giving you something that happened in your past.
Yeah.
An extension, maybe, to This Is Your Life, for this game.
Okay, so here's Dark Secrets. Yeah, it's its own section. So yeah, there's effectively if you. Yeah, it is just a lot of this seems to be very much kind of extension to like This Is Your Life type stuff.
So it's saying like you might have stolen something for someone, and now they know.
Yeah, well, essentially, like if you did the criminal so if you got criminal in your life events, you could obviously just roll on that table, and you could go like if you murdered somebody, then you could go to this then. Or you could just nix that table and for criminal and just go right to the Dark Secrets if you want. And if anything, then you could pick like maybe because like coup isn't an option. A failed coup is not an option on that table.
Wait. Go back up to Dark Secrets. The first one. This is for the entire party.
Oh well,
they should.
Who knows? You're looking at her.
No. Top line.
Oh yeah.
They should collectively choose a dark secret shared by the whole entire party.
Oh, that is so interesting.
I like that.
That is very interesting. What's also interesting in this podcast is over.
Oh my god. We lost track of time. We were really into hell, I guess.
There's a new book. If you want, you can check it out. Yeah, if you don't.
Oh, my nipples are hard.
I ain't gonna make you either. Whoa there. But yeah, if you want to check it out, go ahead. If you don't, we won't make you.
No.
This is the benefit of not being sponsored.
Right?
I can tell you to just be like, if you want to just say like, fuck this book, you can go right ahead.
But in case
I don't know how you'll get in there. Be careful of paper cuts. They sting a lot.
Yep.
But if you're into that, go right ahead.
But just in case Wizards is watching for whatever reason, we actually like the book. We both bought it. I bought 2 copies of it. Please sponsor us.
If Wizards is watching, get D&D Beyond to sponsor me so I stop having these people shout out advertisements for no reason.
But yeah, so you can find this book and more on D&D Beyond. And as always,
we'll see you next week.
Yes. Bye. Happy birthday, Marshall.
Thank you very much.
You bitch. You're 25 now.
Yes. We talked about it being my birthday on the last podcast because this is coming out a week after that.
That's true. Yes. You feel older.
Thank you.
No problem.
We'll be right back.
Hi, Melina.
2 hours later.
All right, so yeah, for audio-wise at least, though, we have to subtract about 7.5 minutes.
All right, and we're back. So